Attention, Austin guitarist. Are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you. That's my friend Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Lutherie. You can find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook. Gang, I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years, and not only does he do the very best job, but he has the fastest service and the best prices in town. Find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook or jason.swedberg@gmail.com. Gang, whether it's acoustic or electric, Jason is your guy. Get your guitars fixed. Hey gang, let's face it, you're probably listening to this show and all of your other shows on your phone. Are you tired of filling up your phone with all of your favorite podcasts? Well, try Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is an app that allows you to stream thousands and thousands of shows right to your smartphone or pad. Download it for free at Stitcher.com or find it in your app store. Get the best in comedy, entertainment, science, sports, news, everything you want right there on Stitcher. Just go to Stitcher.com or find the app in your app store. I use Stitcher Smart Radio and I love it. That's Stitcher Smart Radio. Smarter way to listen to radio. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm the host of this show, and welcome. I hope you guys are all having a really good week. I'm having a good week. I had a little bit of a situation the other night. My girlfriend was like, hey man, I'll order us dinner on favor. So we were hanging out at my house. We were having some wine, sitting by the lake, listening to some music on a little Bluetooth speaker. It was great. We come on up to the house. She does the favor. I'm going to order us dinner tonight on favor. So she orders dinner. It's about 7:45 when she orders it. Then it's like, oh, it'll be there at 9. Like, whoa, that's a long time. Okay, that's cool. So then about 8:30, it's like, hey, man, it's going to be 9:30. We're like, Jesus, man. At this point, we're like a bottle of wine in. And then at about 9 or so, it's like, hey, your order is canceled. So we waited like over an hour. And the order was canceled. And I was like, I was hangry. I had only eaten breakfast. By this time, it's like after 9. I'm starving, pissed off, and a little intoxicated. Not intoxicated. I was just, I was just pissed. Anyway, so I'm in this vibe, and we go over to this taco place by me across the street. Great place called El Taco Rido. You should go there and check it out. It is great. It sounds weird because it's a drive-through place, but it is unbelievably great. You'll thank me. Anyway, El Taco Rido. There's one on Riverside. I think there's a couple of them in town. Anyway, so we go there, we get in line, we order our food. She orders 2 tacos, and I order a quesadilla. So when we get up to the window, I'm not in the best mood. I'm starving and I'm bummed. So the girl hands me the box, and it's one box. So I'm thinking, like, normally they give you a bag and there's stuff. But this time she gives me this box, and I'm like, no, this isn't it. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this isn't my food. And I'm a little mad. Okay. I'm not being, I was rude, short, curt with this nice young lady who did not deserve my attitude because I was hangry. So I'm like, no, that's not it. She goes, well, do you order a taco and some quesadillas? Yeah. Well, that's what's in there. No, it's not. I'm telling her it's not because I'm just convinced that in this box is not my food. Completely unfounded. So then she explains to me and opens the box and shows me my food. And then I felt so bad. I sat there and apologized. I kind of want to take this girl some flowers. But that's also weird. Like, hey, remember me the other night? I was a jerk. I was a jerk, man. That happens, man. We explode. We don't mean to. I didn't explode. I never yelled at her, but I was rude, curt, and short with her. And then I was extremely apologetic, and I explained to her our situation. Hey, we ordered this favor, and then we waited all this time, and then told us it was canceled, and I am starving, and I'm just not in a good mood. And My girlfriend witnessed the whole thing. And it's kind of embarrassing, right? She told the story last night. We were hanging out with some people, and she's telling the story. And I mean, I felt bad when I was hearing this story. I felt bad about myself. We all do this, right? We all have our moments that we don't want anyone to remember. But unfortunately, if there's a witness that is going to be with you all the time, they're going to always have this thing on you. Oh, yeah, remember that time you yelled at the lady at the taco place? because some stupid computer app. By the way, I think that's almost criminal that Faber would do that. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason you're using it. You want your stuff, and to cancel it really, that's what pissed me off the most. That, and I was hangry. Anyway, that's the self-revealing story I will tell you about when I had a meltdown because I was too hungry. Faber canceled the food, and I thought that I was being shorted at the taco place. Gang, I have a great show for you today. The amazing musician Zach Person is on the show. He's got a single out right now that you can listen to called Can't Stop Running. You can find him at zachperson.com. But this Friday, he's releasing his debut self-titled full-length album. That's this Friday, April 2nd, 2021. zachperson.com is where you want to go for that stuff. You can also go see him this Friday, April 2nd, at his LP release show at Empire Garage. What a great show. Those guys, the guys at Empire really have it down. They have a very, very, very good protocol with this COVID-19 thing. And you can get tables, and they're all, spaced apart. They're doing their shows very well. Anyway, Zach Person, what a great, great musician and songwriter. He's also directed some short videos and promo videos that he's done. It's very impressive. The dude is extremely talented. He's a fantastic singer. In fact, he was a contestant on American Idol in 2016. He's co-owner of his label. He's an amazing guitar player. He does this thing, which you can see at zachperson.com. He's got some videos on there, some amazing live videos. They're beautifully shot, and he's really great. He does it as a two-man band. He does his thing live with a drummer. They've got some tracks going on too, but it's fucking great. He is great. And we have a fantastic conversation. He's a really, really nice guy. Also, a plus, always in my book, super cool hair. He has amazingly cool hair. ZachPerson.com. Go there, check it out. Pick up his self-titled LP this Friday, April 2nd. If you live in Austin, you can see him at Empire Garage at his LP release show on April 2nd as well. Get involved with him. He's fucking great. If you live in Europe, he's actually going to be on tour there this summer. So go to ZachPerson.com for all of your Zach Person needs. And without further ado, please enjoy me and Zach chatting it up right here on How Did I Get Here? Let's get down.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Glad, sorry, what was you gonna say?
No. Glad what?
I'm just saying glad to kind of start to, seeing things get back to normal a little bit.
Yeah. You had a gig last week at Geraldine's on Wednesday.
Yeah, that was kind of a opening event for. That was kind of an opening event for Black Denim Records.
Right.
Everybody got to meet the team, and we did a little performance for everybody.
How was it? What? How was a meet and greet during this time?
It's awkward. You got everybody's trying to figure out, do we what's the comfort level? Do we do the elbow thing or
Yeah.
It's all good.
I was invited to go, and Heather even texted me and was like, "Oh, you got to come to this. Everyone's going to be there. All your friends. You haven't seen them in a year, and Zach's so fantastic, and you're fucking great, dude." And I'm really excited to get to talk to you about some stuff. But I do have to apologize. I didn't come because I was going on a date, and she was like, well, you can bring your date. And I'm like, I know, but this is like very early on in the thing. And I've known all of these people very well, and I've missed them very much. And I thought that like it might be like a bummer for her, for me to see all my friends I haven't seen in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could have been a deal breaker.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But how was it? You felt good about the performance and
Yeah, turned out, really good. Geraldine's a cool spot to play, and it was just nice getting to see everybody again that I already met and meet all of the new people, all of, Heather's friends and Christopher's friends. It was really nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was reading about this real quick before we get into the music stuff. Black Denim Records, you were given equity in the company. So in essence, that means that were you to sign other artists,
Yes.
you would then benefit from that financially.
Yeah. So Black Denim is it's the culmination of my strengths, Christopher, and Will's strengths. Will being the president of recorded music, and
Will
Christopher-
Lecanto that's the guy that produced your record?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'll get. Christopher being positioned as the CEO, and my role in Black Denim right now, they've tried to position it to where I'm set up and have the best ability to be able to thrive as an artist. There are extra responsibilities, as actually being a partner in the label, but they try to take as much of that burden off of me, so I can still focus on, being the artist as well.
But it's cool that you have a say, and sort of, it's not like getting signed to some major label where there's some bean counter that makes the decisions about you that you meet once at some fucking thing and they don't even want to know you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's a really cool opportunity. Even, just meeting Christopher and Will in the very beginning, I just thought they were really savvy, creative thinking people, and that's why I wanted to work with them.
Yeah. I know Chris. I've done some stuff with him.
Yeah, man.
He's and so he's the label, and does he manage you as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been my manager since 2018.
Yeah, that's cool. And when did you move to Austin?
I moved to Austin the tail end of 2017, and met my drummer right, around that time as well.
So it's you guys, but what I noticed was there's other stuff going on. Are you looping, or do you have some tracks going on, or?
Yeah, so I've mostly been a trio sort of format, for years, and we became a duo during the pandemic, and so it's still pretty new to us. It took some time to figure out how to make it work, and there was a big learning curve, but. And then, for years we talked about adding tracks, even with the trio, just to make it, give it a little bit of an electronic edge. But, going to the duo forced us to get, over that curve. And we typically have like a electronic sounding bass that rolls underneath everything.
Yeah.
And, some tasteful background harmonies.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we try to keep it pretty organic.
Yeah. And there's something cool about also, like, as a person, obviously you blues and rock, this is something that you feel like your amp is pushing air, the drums are pushing air, the bass is, like, you can feel it behind you when you're playing. And I feel like doing something with tracks, the one other person I would ever want there is that feeling of a drummer hitting drums.
Yes.
There. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the one thing, like you said, I felt like we needed to have. Like, I didn't feel like I could replicate that with tracks or anything.
No. Can you do that? The band, The Sideshow Tragedy?
I heard of it. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're
not super familiar.
They're a two-man band, and they're like a blues based, kind of like a Black Keys kind of band and stuff. But that style of guitar playing, when you don't have anything except the guitar and the drums, That's really fucking hard to do and sing. I mean, I'm a musician too, but like, I can't even imagine doing it. It seems like I would be so stressed out the whole time trying to remember everything I'm doing. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah, I did. It's been a struggle putting groups together for me. It seems most of my life. I've always been able to find the right drummer, and I've not always been able to find the rest of the pieces to fill it in together.
Right.
And so I was just looking back in old pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, I had a duo, in high school for about a year. I forgot about that. I guess over the years, I've just kind of gotten used to working with, less people and trying to build my guitar tone into something that's full and using reverbs and delays and just trying to figure out how to fill space.
Yeah.
With my playing.
Yeah.
And then I played solo for a long time too with loopers. So that kind of taught me ways to solo.
Yeah.
To fill in as well. Yeah.
Did you like that looper, using loopers?
I did. I liked it a lot, and I relied on it for a long time for my solo gigs. And I just recently kind of dropped that out because I don't know. It seemed like it was keeping me in a box too much.
That's the thing is I don't want to be chained to anything.
Yeah, yeah. It is cool for certain. Like I used to have the RC 300, the 3-tiered looper pedal, and yeah. And I recently just switched back to the just a singular loop that, like, if I'm playing acoustic or something, I might throw down like just a chord progression to solo over. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this self-titled record drops on April 2nd, right? And
Yes.
You have the single out. I wrote it down here. What the hell is wrong with me?
Can't Stop Running.
Can't Stop Running. Sorry. I was going to say I Can't Stop. Okay, Can't Stop. I wrote it in the wrong place. You're about to do a record release show, and then you're doing a tour in Europe?
Yes. It's supposed to be in May, and as you know, everything's getting pushed back, and that got pushed back to September.
Okay.
But we're stoked to go out there and do that. It's our first European tour.
It's going to be fucking great. They're going to love you, man. It's interesting because...
I hope so.
Yeah, because it's interesting because what you do, and I think I don't do exactly what you do, but this setup of a rock and roll band, the section in pop culture where it's going to go has shrunken. Like, you know what I mean? Like a pie graph or something, At this point, it's like Gary, Black Pumas somehow... I mean, they're amazing, but they also made it into that sliver, and like Foo Fighters and whatever the band of the young kids that sound like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. They're great.
So when you go in and make this record, I assume you're pretty young. You're in your 20s?
24, yeah.
24? Oh, you're really young. Shit. Do you see it as like... it's like the way people looked at jazz like 20 years ago? Like there was a couple of jazz guys you knew, but you didn't know like jazz guys like you knew rock bands. You know what I mean? Is it being marginalized is what I'm trying to get to.
Maybe as far as maybe it's access to like mainstream audiences. I feel like the majority of people are exposed to what they listen to and or what they hear on the radio, and if they don't do any extra sort of searching on their own,
they're going to be stuck.
Then they'll probably they're going to be stuck with whatever slips through the cracks. For instance, people keep we've gotten a couple of people say, "Man, Can't Stop Running sounds like what is it? Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." And you're like, And then, like, we listened to it because, like, I didn't even know it was by Cage the Elephant, and we listened to that song, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I hear like similarities of the slide tones, but they're two completely different songs, and we had to boil it down to that. It was, I think it's if this is somebody who their only exposure to, you know, bluesy feel or style music is that's their only point of reference.
Exactly.
If they hear anything else that sounds like that, they're gonna be sounds just like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, not really, but yeah.
So did you play bass on the record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I played bass. We had there was a guy that was playing with us for a little bit, Callie Caligari, and he came in and played bass on a few tunes. But other than that, yeah.
Okay.
Just
you write these tunes on your own?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So my process, I guess, is my process is I usually start with an acoustic guitar, and I used to go straight into Logic and like start building out the song, but I would find that I would get too like distracted.
Yes, and you lose the song because you're fucking so excited about this weird snare sound you came up with.
Exactly.
Dude, yeah,
so,
here, check this out really fast. Like, I have a whole thing like that, and I came up like recording on 4-track and shit, and I've lost so many songs in just like getting super high
playing
or something.
around.
And yeah. Finding a cool ass synth sound or something. Okay, sorry. So go ahead. Yeah. So you.
Yeah, and so now I try to limit it to the acoustic, and even better if I can write the whole tune in my head. If I can just sit there quietly, eyes closed, and imagine the whole song. Sometimes I need inspiration from a melodic instrument or something, but just keeping it as simple as possible to where, you know, if I need to make the song, you know, work with just my vocals and this guitar. And then once that's there, then I can go start adding stuff. And then usually I make a demo, send it to Jake, and he's usually like, dope. And we get together, and he elevates the whole tune with his drumming and groove ideas. Usually I have a pretty good basis of what, you know, I'm imagining for the drums to do, but like Can't Stop Running, for instance, there's the snare groove, or I guess the drum groove is like it's a boom, cut, boom, cut, which is kind of reminds me of like I don't know, like it kind of has like a maybe I don't know, 90s hip hop feel.
Yeah.
Again, and that's Jake's, you know, genius put in there that just added like a little bit of an extra pop to it, which is cool.
Well, yeah. The cool thing about it is that you've taken in modern things, like you were talking about the electronic. Like when you listen to this record, it's not just like a Robert Cray record or something. You know what I mean? Like it's modern, it's moving. It's thinking about this music in a forward direction and adopting the tools available to us now.
Well, yeah. So I mean, that's me trying to be, I guess, aware of what I at least think people want to hear. Yeah. And what I like too. That came from years of grinding it out in all sorts of different locations and venues. I remember the early days of moving to Austin, Friends Bar. You know, that's a proving ground, man.
Was Tesmer still playing there when you did that?
Yeah, I was actually coming in hoping, because I heard that he was leaving through somebody, and they needed somebody to take that slot. And I was like, you know what? I could probably do that. I was living in Houston at the time, and I think it ended up going to somebody much more deserving, in my opinion, Dave Scher.
Oh, dude, slot. I love that guy. I love both of those guys a lot, like as people and as musicians.
Dude, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Dave, I'm sure, in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll keep going on this story, but
Yeah, sorry.
No. But yeah, man, playing Friends Bar, that's I mean, everything else, but, you know, that was kind of, I don't know, the last maybe level of that level of music, college of, I don't know, you know, having a crowd that, you know, you have to work to keep there because it can turn over so fast.
Yeah.
All that. You know, when we first started playing there in mid 2017, I was driving from Houston to come to play Friends Bar, and I could see our audience grow and change over the course of a year and a half or so. You know, when we first started, it was, you know, kind of what you expect, you know, to see at a typical blues concert. You know, there's a specific demographic, and towards the end,
Old white dudes. Is that what
maybe, but you know, towards the end, it was everybody.
That's awesome.
You know, every both all, I can't even say both anymore. All genders, all ethnicities, ages, and people that, you know, you typically wouldn't think they would respond well to this, you know, to this guitar music. They're loving it, and it's like, okay, we figured out, you know, how to make this music, you know, keep the elements of this music that I like, but I don't know, we figured out how to make it transcend whatever stereotypes and you know they're associated with the genre that turn people away.
Yeah. And then also, it seems like you're bringing it into the 21st century. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
and that's a difficult thing to do. Is to. I mean, I don't. Do you know Gary Clark Jr.?
Not well. I think we've like met in passing maybe 2 times.
He has a hard time with it because in his role, and he might have come up more prominently as a blues guitar slinger guy. That there's a certain audience that he gained because he came out like that, but when he branches out technologically or song wise and breaks the 1-4-5 or what is expected of a blues album or blues guitar player, he gets a lot of shit from people. You know what I mean? Like people that got into him through seeing him playing with Eric Clapton or something. You know what I mean? Like and I see that you would probably have to walk this sort of fine line where you're like, hey, I'm respecting this, but I am also 24 years old and I have a different idea of how this can be done now.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, that's something that, you know, early on, Christopher was super, you know, hyper aware of, was making sure that I didn't just get positioned as a Texas guitarist.
No.
But to me, I mean, I don't know. I don't really understand the super traditional list, you know, sort of, you know, mentality. I feel like, you know, done tastefully, adding, you know, whatever 808s and
sure
all sorts of things to blues music is making it could not make it better, but, you know, it's
keep it alive.
Yeah, I mean, take a Robert Johnson tune and, you know, just make it hit harder. That's kind of, you know, my thought process with it.
Yeah. Well, your record is fantastic, and people can get it. And when it comes out on April 2nd, you're also doing a show at Empire Garage on April 2nd, 2021.
Yes.
They have a good situation going on there, don't they?
Yeah, man.
Empire,
it's a great show, great venue. We just played with Black Joe Lewis.
Oh, fantastic.
Back in February. That was awesome. And then Torino Black and Cowboy Diplomacy are our guests.
Cool. I love Torino Black.
Yeah, man. Yeah. First saw her and band play, Cece and the band play.
Yeah.
Back at the Jelly Jam in December at Empire.
Oh, yeah.
It was just incredible. We were all blown away.
I'm a huge fan of Saul's guitar playing. I think that guy's cool,
Yeah,
man. He's got a good, his thing is super awesome. Hey, is that an SG Junior there next to you?
No, this is not. This is my 1957 blah 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 LG1. It's an LG1 conversion LG2. So there's a story with this guitar.
Tell me it.
And I'm going to tell it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, out of, I don't know, years of, my first acoustic guitar was a Taylor GS Mini.
Okay.
And I beat the heck out of that thing and was looking for new acoustic and played all of them. And I was like, man, Gibson acoustics, where it's at for me. They seem to sit perfectly. Like they have enough flow ends, not too dark like a Martin,
right?
To me, and not too bright and airy like a Taylor. Seems like perfectly mid-range and balanced. And so I started looking, and Chris Stapleton, I'm super huge fan of his music, and he plays an LG2.
Oh, he does.
So naturally, I started looking for an LG2. I don't know, just kind of wasn't like super actively searching, but I was hoping maybe I'll just stumble across one day. And dude, so last Thanksgiving of 2019, I believe it was over at family's house, and my father-in-law was telling me about, all his guitar, or he used to be a musician, and talking about the guitars he had. And I said, I've always wanted a Gibson LG2. It kind of looks like this. I showed it to him on my phone. He's like, I think I have something like that. And he's like, it's probably out in storage. It was my mom's guitar. She used to play and sing and whatever, and she gave this guitar to me, and I've had it, and it's just been in storage. And so I'm like, all right, we've got to go find it right now. And it was snowing. It was like 2:00 in the morning, pitch black. Went out into this dusty garage with cobwebs and everything. And then there was that, that story about finding that old brown case. Yeah. And it was in there, and it was not in good shape either. It was jacked up. This whole area here was like almost as if somebody punched in, so it was caved in. The strings were about an inch off the front door. And so he's like, yeah, you can have it, and he's like, if you can get it fixed, that'd be great. He's like, I haven't had anybody that's wanted to take on the challenge of fixing it. And so I went to Straight Music to visit Lauren. Straight, she does amazing work on everything. And she turned me on to this woman named Elaine, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Fiolin. But she apparently used to work at Straight, but she's been working on acoustic instruments of all kinds for like, I don't know, forever. And she's like in her mid 80s right now. And she took this on as kind of like she doesn't do it full time anymore, but she took it on as kind of just like a passion project. Yeah. And spent a couple months on it. Took the whole thing apart. And just, I don't know, I came back one day and it was all put together. And she's like, she's not necessarily super roadworthy, but she's together and she plays good now. And so yeah, and his mom's name was Jeannie, so the guitar is named Jeannie. Awesome. after her, and she sounds amazing. And I probably won't be able to do. What an amazing
gift!
Yeah, man. I probably won't be able to do too much road, stuff with it. It's already starting to get a little bit of a crack again on the back, but
I've got this. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's still a great piece, and record with it and songwrite with it and everything.
Yeah. So, man, these songs. Are you like a real personal songwriter, or like you know what I mean? Like there's different kinds of, there's very confessional. Like my thing is I feel like I'm not trying to write a song that's a message for everyone to get. I'm like, hey man, I did some self-analyzation and this is what I came up with. And then, it's, there's story guys. Yeah.
I guess it depends on the song. There's probably some songs on there that are more confessional. But most of the time I feel like my songs start off with partial truth and then I build a story around it.
Yeah.
Like Send Me Away, for instance, is just kind of like it's supposed to. Well, I hate talking about songs too much because I don't want to spoil whatever it means to somebody else.
Dude, I totally respect that.
But
you can speak in general terms if you want.
Yeah. Capturing the feeling. That song was more or less about telling a story, but capturing the emotion of, I don't know, being rejected and just kind of harping on that feeling over and over again, which is why it's so repetitive in the chorus.
Right.
Because, there's some songs that like to, take people on a journey, but that one's, just meant to stay right there and be focused on that one emotion. Yeah. And keep hitting it up, over the head until you get it.
Totally. I always have, I don't like to delve too much into every single song because then, people might not have heard the record yet. So this conversation won't really translate. But in those general things of what kind of I really, man, you're a great songwriter. You're an amazing musician. And
thanks, man.
I didn't start to hate you until I saw that you also directed these awesome videos. But I don't really hate you, man. I was just like, man, this guy's got it all. Plus fucking amazing hair.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. It wasn't always this way doing that. I went through some phases. Thanks, man.
You're welcome, man.
I appreciate it.
So you're born in Houston?
That's another story. And I'm trying to work on my long-windedness, but maybe that works in this format. I think it does.
Yeah, it does. Maybe. That's what we're just shooting the shit. And we're going to find out who you are.
Yeah, man. For better or for worse, no. I was born in New Jersey.
All right.
Vineland, New Jersey in 1996. And funny enough, my drummer, Jake Weibel, he's from the neighboring town, two really tiny small towns in New Jersey, and we just happened to connect in Austin, 20 years later.
It's amazing.
So that was really cool to find out. But born there, my mom was working several different jobs. To that point, she was a firefighter at one point, a police officer at one point. My dad was a correctional officer working at Maryland Jessup House of Corrections. It's basically a prison guard. They split when I was 2, and we moved back down to North Carolina, and I basically grew up in another small town, Southern Pines, North Carolina, with my grandma and my mom. And around the time I was 9, my father was killed working in the prison as a correctional officer.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I never know quite how to respond.
I know exactly what you mean.
Because I have to tell the story, but but yeah, my mom was looking for something for me to do. At that point, I was skateboarding a lot, and so I already knew about music through my mom. She was a really great singer, but it was a lot of Motown style music. And then when I started skating, I was getting exposed to a lot of heavy metal and rock music at the skate parks. And so,
How old were you at this point?
I started skateboarding at 8 years old, and I don't think I stopped until I was 16. But she was looking for something for me to do, and I was interested in rock music. And I'm like, I want to play guitar, and so she got me a little first stack Walmart guitar with the 9-volt battery and the speaker in the guitar. And I banged around on that for about a year, and I had an iPod Shuffle, if you remember those.
Yeah.
And I think I had I don't even know how I got this music loaded on there, but for some reason I had the Three Doors Down album and Black Sabbath and maybe Carlos Santana or something at that point. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I just banged around on the bottom string and tried to make those sounds. And then she's like, okay, maybe we get you a real guitar now and get you lessons. And so I got an Epiphone Les Paul.
Cool.
And a actual, a blues, whatever, actual, a little tube amp, and started taking lessons from this dude named Baxter Clement. And he owns Casino Guitars. You should go check out their YouTube channel.
Okay.
And you'll know a little bit more about where I came from. And he introduced me to blues music for the first time. He was like, why are you listening to all this? You need to, he's like, we're not even going to play guitar right now. He's like, first thing we're going to listen to, I need you to listen to Eric Clapton and B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan. It was a whole list. And so I went home that night and went on YouTube. And the first video I saw was The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Him with Gary Moore, and he's wearing a big green suit, I think. And that memory just stuck with me forever. And from then on, it was just YouTube as much as possible, trying to figure out how to play. Yeah. Like those guys.
And this was, you're still in North Carolina at that point?
Still in North Carolina. Yeah. And so about a year and a half working with Baxter and YouTubing, and then my mom remarried and we moved to Houston when I was 13. Basically that, I think that was maybe middle school for me. So I'm playing guitar in my bedroom, going to this new school. On career day, I somehow end up with the guitar in my hands and start playing and singing in the middle of the gym, and crowd of kids come up and they applaud, and I'm like, this is cool. And from that moment, then everything changed. I went from being the new kid who was kind of invisible, a nerd in the back of the class. Everybody's like, I wasn't the cool kid yet, but I was at least, you're the guy that plays guitar. And
you had an identity that was unique unto yourself, which is very fucking hard to get in high school. And the weirdest thing is that everyone's just trying to fit in as much as possible. But you actually stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of used to a little bit from North Carolina. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, the guitar became my hall pass. And so, in a sense, I could walk through the hallway with the guitar and the principals were like, he's up to something good, But through that, these kids that had a band and their dad played bass, they reached out and said, we want you to play guitar with us. I'm like, okay, because I would sit at home and I would be like, I want to play stages, I want to, I would look at, John Mayer, just because, when he was the most accessible, guitar player to me at that point. I want to be like that. I want to be like Eric Clapton. I had no sort of actual game plan for how to make that happen. And, they were playing shows, at least around town. So
Where
I got,
do you remember where the shows were?
I mean, it was pretty local stuff. They were pretty new when I first got with them, but their dad was the district manager for Verizon. So soon we were playing some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, cool.
A lot of not like the main upstairs, stage, but like a lot of House of Blues events in Houston, and just a kind of like a lot of city events.
Yeah. For those listening, what he's talking about, House of Blues has usually traditionally 3 rooms, a restaurant, which is a long gig and weird, and then a middle room that's usually where the local bands play, and then of course the room that everybody goes to see, Alice Cooper or whatever the mid-level rock thing is. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, that's good. So started playing with them. The group was called Project X, and we came out before the movie Project X. I mean, perfect middle school band name, and middle of high school, the band just dissolved for different reasons. Everybody had different interests, but I still wanted to play music, so I went out and just started hustling. I just got my driver's license so I could get to my own gigs, and I became a singer-songwriter at that point, just with an acoustic guitar, and started going out and playing bars every night. Not every night, but most
as
nights
much as
after.
You could, yeah.
After school, homework, go out and play a gig, and that really kind of helped. I think hone, like you're saying, that filling the space and working on my vocals and all that. That's when I got into looping. Let me try to get back on track with the story. A couple months later, I'm thinking that I'm going to be a singer-songwriter, acoustic guy for the rest of my life, and looking at Ed Sheeran for inspiration.
Right.
I guess maybe a year later, a church calls me up and asks me to play guitar and electric guitar for a service, and I'm like, I don't even know if I owned an electric guitar at that point. And I got there, they had a Strat, a blue custom shop Strat, sitting on a stand, and a big Marshall amp, and I plugged into that and hit the first chord, and I'm like, I've got to do this again. I need a band. I need
Fuck a
drums.
bunch of Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, right. And so I immediately start searching, for players. I got really creative, hit up the Ruler and Ryan show. I don't know if you are familiar with them. They're like the main KRBE station in Houston.
Yeah. That was my station when I was there.
Oh yeah, man. And so I was like, man, if let me come on your show. I'll do something cool for your segment. I'll be this young, guitar whiz. You can brand it as that, and then I'll get exposure to find a band, and they love the idea. And that's on YouTube. You can find that somewhere. But I actually did meet somebody. I don't know if it was necessarily directly from that, but met a drummer. Started building out a band. Went through a couple different players. And by this time, I'm like at the end of high school. I'm thinking, okay, I guess I'm gonna go to school. My original plan was to try to go to UT. Got a little distracted with music in high school and was like, maybe I'll start off somewhere lower and then go to UT afterwards. But that all got put aside because I auditioned for American Idol, and that gave me a little bit more time,
What?
with the fan.
Can I quickly ask you a question? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how did the audition come up? You saw it in something and you went to this giant fucking cattle call thing, and
so my grandma had lung surgery for cancer, and so I moved in with her at the end of my high school, like my senior year, and it's still in Houston. She ended up coming to Houston. It was well for a little bit, and we would just watch game shows and stuff all the time. And American Idol was one of the shows we'd watch. And we just finished, I finished my senior year, and we finished the season with, I think it was with Phil Phillips. I think that was it. And she was like, you should try that show. I think you could do as good as some of the people on there. And I'm like, all right, I'll do an online audition. And so I sent in my online taping, and the producers got back super quick, and they were like, we want to fast forward, you to the meet with the producers. And I did another meeting with the producers, and then they're like, okay, you're good. You need to fly, do whatever you need to do to get a ticket to Philadelphia, because you're going to audition, for the judges in Philly. And I don't know why it was Philadelphia. I guess that was the next date that was coming up. Right. And so flew up there, and then there was I think there was about maybe 200 or so people that day that auditioned for the judges, Harry Connick and Jennifer Lopez and Keith Urban, and made it through that round. And that whole process took maybe 3 months or so that I was actually involved, maybe longer, maybe like 4 months or so that I was involved with actually hands-on with the Idol, having to fly out and do stuff.
Right.
And then, the season got cut short that year. And so they had to do a big chop at the top 24. And that's when I left the show. Thankfully, though, because I got to leave with all my intellectual rights and not get tied into any super, strict contracts.
Because that shit, I've heard that those things are insane.
Yeah. No, they've done it so many times that, you can always tell, when you see things like in the contracts, like saying not even just anything you say, like any sounds you may utter, or it's like they've been through it so many times, they've had to foolproof.
Right. Yeah. And then they kind of, like Kelly Clarkson had to fight, I think that lady paid $10 million to get out of that shit.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, Zach, because that what you've ended up doing professionally, like with your label and stuff like that, is the polar opposite of what you would have ended up with if you would have gone through there.
Yeah.
When you when you were doing it, what were you hoping to get out of it? Experience or like a little exposure? I mean, were you like, what would happen if they would have gotten you and been like, no, we're writing these songs for you. Diane Warren's going to write your ballad hit or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I'd always been, I guess, somewhat of a hustler as a young kid. I always tell Christopher the story about me like getting my business cards made and me being like 16 years old, 15 years old, and seeing Eric Johnson at the very end of a Experience Hendrix concert, and me going like, being this little kid and walking up and being like, oh, there, and like, not handing one, but like a stack of business cards
to Eric Johnson.
Yeah, a whole stack. And now you see it. Yeah, I see him around town all the time. And it's funny. But I was hoping.
Before you go, are you friends with Jackie Venson?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she gave me this, which is her card from when she was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jacqueline
Venson.
Wow.
Yeah, I keep it in my
that's awesome.
My little shrine of stupid shit. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. I love that card story though.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. So, I was very opportunistic. I think I was looking for every opportunity. My homepage on my laptop in high school was, Yahoo, news page. And every now and then you'd see the story of, guitar whiz kid blows, somebody away, or whatever. You'd see plays and I was like, that, again, at that point, being so young and I was thinking that's what I needed, to get a break, that's what I saw. And I was thinking, okay, so I just need that viral thing. And if I can, I don't know, if I can go on Idol and people can just see me play guitar, then, that'll be the thing that gives me a break, and then I'll be good from then on. So that was kind of
that makes
my
sense.
idea. Going on there. And it, I got a little bit of exposure from that, but not as much if you make it to like the top 10. And then, like I said, by that point, you've lost a lot of control, and you don't really have as much of a say in who you are or what you what you want to do. So it worked out for the best. Yeah, this way.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But you also got to have the experience of it too, and sort of like, what did you take away from it? Would you if someone offered you to do something like that again, what would you say?
No, not at this point, but I like the thing I definitely took away from it was that, again, I was coming from being a guitarist that had to sing out of necessity. That first band I was in, they found out I could sing, and they're like, you need to sing more. And they not forced me, but just encouraged me to start doing that. And then once that band dissolved, I wanted to keep playing. I had to, sing to book gigs. And so Idol was the first time that it forced me to focus on myself as a vocalist. Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean, I probably would have done more at some point, but that was, at least at that point, that's when I, started focusing on that part of my performing. Right. Yeah. Dude, it took years to develop that, dude. I used to, in high school, cry in my closet listening to voice recordings of myself, because I was like, this does not sound good, and I can't imagine it getting from here to anywhere where I want it to be. Yeah,
that's a tough one, man. That's a tough, having to hear your voice. Some people hate it. You know what I mean?
I still cringe sometimes, but at least I feel like I've gotten to the point where at least things usually sound the way that I want them to sound. You know?
Right. You know what happens to me is I'm so, I know it's me so deeply because it's me that I'll listen to something, and as the song starts, I'll be like, oh yeah, and then the singing starts, and I'm like, man, it's just me. What the hell is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Other people don't have that reaction probably for you either, so we're probably pretty lucky. Yeah. Where did you get it into directing, and that promo that you made is awesome.
Oh man. It probably, it started out of necessity because I used to take my iPad or iPhone, whatever I had at the time, iPod Touch, whatever it was, and I would always set it up just in the corner at gigs. And, most of that stuff's been cleared off now, but I would make, clips for Instagram. It's probably how it all started. Every single gig I was setting my iPhone in the corner just so I could see what it looked and sounded like. And, I think that started my, video, process. And then, you get iMovie and you start working on that. Eventually, if you can get Final Cut Pro or something like a decent, really decent or good, piece of editing software, then you just start playing around. And I was just doing it again, out of necessity. I didn't. It was super expensive to hire people to do stuff. So just started doing it myself, and then eventually got better and better at it. It was a slow process, but Christopher did a great job directing, the videos, a lot of his eye, from his background in photography, getting a lot of the shots, and then, just a couple of days of us, or a week of us sitting back on the couch pressing buttons, making making it all come together.
Those the live videos of James is your drummer?
Jake,
sorry. The videos of you and Jake in the studio, there's several of them. Did Chris direct those?
No, those were done at One Chapel.
Okay. Those are really good, man. Like, I'm a huge, I mean, I guess as a musician, my favorite kind of video, I love art videos too. And like, the video from the desert, that promo thing that you did, but I love to watch people play,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Me too. I like, most of the time I'm listening to the live version of something than the studio version.
Yeah. Your, the use of delay, I don't know if it's on the cover, that your version of All Shook Up is really cool, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was one of those, I'm sure you can relate, those like all-nighter things where you just get an idea and, you tweak out on it until the sun comes up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You said use of delay?
Yeah. It's like Jake's playing this thing and you're chun 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 chun. And it had this groove to it. Like you have a good sense of pocket, like with your singing and your rhythm playing and stuff. It's all so it feels really good.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, sorry, my thought when you say delay, I try to be as tasteful with that as possible. Dave Scher, he got me, not intentionally, but he got me out of that. If I'm trying to aspire to anything in guitar playing, it's his playing and probably some hybrid of Dave Scher and Eric Gales. That's where the future of
where you're going.
I would like to be. Like, I mean, I still want to be myself, but like pulling, from those.
We all get it from somewhere, and luckily there's some kind of filter that is distinctly us that when it comes out, hopefully you can't tell who you stole it from.
Yeah, exactly. It's our inability or failure to sound like our inspirations, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else, man? You got married pretty young, huh? How long you been married?
Yeah, man. Dude, coming up on a year this April 9th.
Wow, what a fucking weird year to be your first year of marriage.
Yeah, man. Everybody says if you guys make it through this, you'll be good for everything else.
Good. What does she do?
Man.
Is she an art person?
Man, very creative. Aspiring actress, and
cool.
Right now, just kind of trying to survive 2020. I think as we all are.
Yeah. And we're 3 months into 2021, and we're still trying to survive 2020.
Still trying to, yeah, man. That's a T-shirt right there, man.
Yeah.
But she's awesome and super supportive of everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's really great. Yeah, man.
How about your mom?
Yeah.
She's proud of you?
Oh, man. I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. Yeah, man. Yeah, she passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all good, man. She passed away in 2019. Cancer as well. So, but yeah, not trying to. You didn't bum me out or anything.
Okay, good. All right.
I'm good.
Well, dude, this record is fantastic. People can get it. They can also find the EP is out now, right?
Yeah. The EP is got our 5 hot singles, right? And then they've got some more stuff to explore in the LP when it comes out as well.
Yeah. Well, this is your music is great. You are just a huge ball of talent, and I'm really honored to have got to talk to you, man. You are, I see you going a lot of places. You get that feeling listening to your music and seeing you play on those videos and stuff. And next time you play, I won't be in town April 2nd, but next time after that, I will come. I would love to see it live and meet you in person.
Dude, likewise. Yeah.
It's been really great talking to you.
To chat more. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Anything else I'm missing last minute? Nothing?
I don't know. Shout out to Heather.
Yeah, baby.
At Jet Juice for setting us up, man.
Yeah. And Jackie was the one that I've been dealing with on this. But yeah, Heather actually shook me down on the text and was like, "Hey, man, you haven't responded to coming to this Zach Person show. What's wrong with you?" So, but I will come. And
man.
And it's been a really great. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait to see you play live and meet you in person.
Likewise, man.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Thanks, buddy. That is Zach Person, gang. His self-titled LP comes out this Friday, April 2nd. Go to ZachPerson.com for all of your Zach Person needs. And don't forget, he is doing a special LP release show this Friday at Empire Garage. So go to Zach Person for all of your Zach Person needs. And check out his single, Can't Stop Running. Great song. And check out his videos on his website. And hey, gang, when you're out there checking out ZachPerson.com, don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find the podcasts. If you could do it on Apple Podcasts, if you do it on Spotify, if you do it on Stitcher, if you do it on TuneIn, if you do it on Google Podcasts. Hey, Google, you do that thing. It's great. It's great. All right? Check it out. New shows all the time. I've got Lady Heartwing coming up on Friday. One of my favorite artists, MC Glazer. She's got a new character person that she plays, Lady Heartwing. All right, let's hear the rest of this song, Can't Stop Running, by Zach Person. Check out his full-length album. Comes out this Friday, April 2nd. See him at Empire Garage, April 2nd, at his LP release show. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I will be in Dallas. Hear about all about that on next Tuesday's show. Let's get down.
Can't stop running on. Days keep coming, they're coming for me. Money don't grow on trees, and a pretty face won't keep me